This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks around the world. Here now, the news for December 19th, 2022. But I should say before that I have a shirt to plug from Carousel Products, and actually, by the time I'm reading this on the show, I know we are about half sold out already, and that was with no publicity. We didn't even tell people. I think people who have bought something from Carousel Products before got an email, and that was it, and they're already half gone. As you all know, we only have a couple weeks left of Splash Mountain's existence at Walt Disney World, and Disney isn't going to make any merchandise, and I don't know if anyone else is going to. So we did a little something. We did a last chance to splash. You may recognize a little nod to the famous sign, the last chance to exit, but it is obviously with the ride closing our last chance to splash. You got the mountain back there. We did a special, as we always do, a little special version of the Carousel Products logo, and then the front has some of the briar patch thorns and stuff with the little picnic bag. Last chance to splash. Pick this up now at carouselproducts.com. Like all of our shirts, we never try to price gouge. It's $20, and you can get it right now. And our shipping is very fast, so like 2 to 3 days people get it. So I don't want to promise you'll get it for Christmas. There's a really good chance you will, though. So hurry up to carouselproducts.com and pick this up now. I got two myself because they're not going to make anything, and I feel bad because I love Splash Mountain. And I want to remember it in some way, especially the end. TRON Lightcycle Run is coming early next spring to the Magic Kingdom, and we're continuing to learn a little more about it as the opening draws near. The latest information we received is that the lockers will open from both sides and be accessed via MagicBand and the My Disney Experience app. The photo you're looking at now shows the building, which will house lockers, but these will be lockers for the oversized items. Also, there will be restrooms in this building, but the standard double-sided lockers will first be accessed by guests in the queue, and of course, again, as they exit from the attraction after having ridden on a Lightcycle. A double-sided system is already in use over at Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. People really like that there. The system allows guests to deposit items from the entrance side and withdraw them from the opposite side of the same locker when they exit. Lockers are a somewhat uncommon feature at the Disney, at least the Disney World theme parks, with Kali River Rapids and Animal Kingdom being the only attraction with a locker bay, an attempt to protect your items from, water, as you can get quite wet on that ride, but not so much about losing the item into the ride, right? The double-sided system will eliminate a lot of the bottlenecking that happens. Most famous example, right? The Harry Potter attractions. Absolutely Forbidden Journey and Escape from Gringotts are the two worst locker experiences I've had at any theme park. Even like Six Flags, I've had better experiences than those two. They're just catastrophically bad. But it makes the experience easier for guests. There may not even be kiosk reportedly, given the system will allegedly be accessed on the My Disney Experience app or even just via your MagicBand. So if you're saying like, well, what if I put my phone in the locker? Well, you might want to hold on to your MagicBand or something of the sort. Again, we don't know all the exact details. We just know these will be RFID enabled in some way, shape, or form. We know they're two-sided. We know they're in the queue. That's as much as we know at this time. Obviously, when it goes into practice, we'll learn a lot more. Now, TRON Lightcycle Run does already exist as TRON Lightcycle Power Run at Shanghai Disneyland. There, it does use lockers occasionally, but in later years, they mostly switched to a rolling cart. So guests place stuff in the rolling cart when they get down to the load area, and then that cart is rolled into the exit area where you can pick up your stuff. They're likely not going to do that here. But again, given the nature of the ride vehicle, loose items are not permitted. Of course, at other Walt Disney World roller coasters, such as Expedition Everest, Rock and Roller Coaster, Space Mountain, you can stow personal items in a pouch inside the ride vehicle. The Lightcycles, given that they are kind of like motorbikes, don't really have space for a lot of items. So that being said, this is why they will need this system. A line of dialogue from Goofy has been changed in the Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration stage show at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and beyond at the Magic Kingdom. It also plays during Christmas week. Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration debuted in 2016 and was performed at the party through 2019. The show and party then went on hiatus due to COVID-19 until returning in 2022. The line change premiered with the show's 2022 return, the only significant update that was made in total to the show. The line comes near the very end after the bell-related medley.
Well, who's a Ding-a-Ling now?
Now Goofy says,
That was unbelievable.
they're both terrible lines. Either way, you can hear the new line in our video from this year at about 16:45 in the video. You can hear the old line in our 2016 video at 16:50 is the mark there. The reason for the change is unclear, but it's either over the unfortunate slang connotations of Ding-a-Ling, or possibly Disney simply didn't want Goofy insulting himself and Donald anymore. It's not known, but clearly they went out of their way. It is the only change that was made to the show. So someone was out for that line. Someone decided it had to go. Guests of the Magic Kingdom will be able to once again mingle with royalty at Cinderella's royal table beginning February 28th, 2023. The restaurant has not offered meetings with the Disney princess character since it closed due to COVID-19 in March of 2020. Cinderella, of course, has made sporadic distance appearances at the restaurant since it reopened, breakfast returning in August of 2021 and lunch and dinner returning in September of 2020. We do have reviews of all three of those meal services on our website if you want to check it out. Disney has confirmed the characters are returning to all three meal services starting again on February 28th. Neil Patrick Harris is back to narrate the Candlelight Processional this year, and as a big fan of Disney parks and Disney in general, he's often a crowd favorite for his jokes and references. But over the weekend, he opened the narration with a joke about former Disney CEO Bob Chapek.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to tonight's performance of the Candlelight Processional here at EPCOT. EPCOT. An acronym. And I'm pretty sure the C doesn't stand for Chapek.
The crowd erupted into laughter at that point. Neil Patrick Harris also went out of his way to make a harmonious joke and reference that it was his last chance to make one. So I don't know, maybe he's not a fan of that show either. But I love that Neil Patrick Harris is one of us. He actually follows WDWNT on Twitter, so I'm not surprised. But it was, I was actually sitting there in the crowd and I was overjoyed. It made my night. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next magical Disney trip. The best part, their services are free. Visit WDWNT.travel for details. The American Adventure reopening has been delayed again at EPCOT. The audio animatronic show initially closed on September 19th for what was supposed to be a 3-month refurbishment. The original reopening date was supposed to be December 18th, with showtimes listed on the Walt Disney World website, but those disappeared. The reopening was changed to December 19th. It's still closed. We have heard, this is from a source, it's not on the Disney website. We have heard that it will reopen in a couple days, supposedly before the end of the year. I do want to note that this is from one of our sources. It's not official yet at this time. What we have heard is December 23rd. Cast members at the attraction claim they have no idea. They weren't told anything, but all we know is they said by the end of the year, and we know from people who would know that December 23rd seems likely. There's not expected to be changes to the show. There's expected to be some maintenance changes, new carpeting, things like that, but no major changes to the show. You might wonder why that takes so long, but I couldn't tell you. The courses of Disney's Winter Summerland Miniature Golf Course at Walt Disney World will be closed for refurbishment in January. The summer course will close first from January 17th through the 23rd, and after it reopens, the winter course will be closed from January 24th through the 30th. Crews will be replacing the tee pads at this time. Disney's Fantasia Gardens Miniature Golf will still be open. D-Tech On Demand is offering a new selection of annual Passholder and cast member merchandise inside the Marketplace Co-op at Disney Springs. There's a Walt Disney World annual Passholder ornament for $19.99. This features that new art of Minnie Mouse in which select pass holders were mailed magnets. If you're like me, you never get those in the mail, but there is an ornament. There's also a phone case for the iPhone 14 Plus, at least, for $29.99. And then last but not least, there is an Epcot 40 Figment cast member magnet for $14.99, which it's kind of weird that there's a cast member item in a public store at a Disney World. That's a new thing for me, so that's interesting. I don't know. I assume they will check IDs. I know with annual pass merchandise like that, phone cases, I've had my ID and pass checked, so I mean, you can go try it out, but I take it you won't be able to buy that stuff unless you have the proper credentials. The Tokyo Disney Resort has recently updated its theme park usage agreement, and listed in its prohibited acts section is this little gem: purchasing products or souvenirs for the purpose of resale. That's right. Tokyo Disney Resort has now made buying merchandise for the purpose of reselling it a reason to be removed from the park or banned altogether. The new agreement, which will go into effect on Wednesday, December 21st, states that customers shall not engage in any of the acts listed below when using the park. In addition, the violation of this paragraph shall be reasonably determined by the company based on rational grounds. This is a significant problem, of course, at every Disney theme park around the world the last few years. The phenomenon was observed at Tokyo Disney Sea this past spring, where some shoppers arrived more than 5 hours early to purchase new Duffy and Friends merchandise. Many of these shoppers were suspected of being resellers, and some have reportedly used baby dolls in an attempt to bypass the one-item limit, claiming their baby was another person. The only other change to the theme park usage agreement is they added a new ban on, quote, filming for commercial purposes. We'll have to wait and see if that applies to us, kids. We may not be allowed to cover Tokyo Disney anymore. I don't know. That being said, the U.S. parks and others say the same thing, and it's not enforced. So keep that in mind. Anyway, prohibiting buying merchandise for reselling purposes at the Tokyo Disney Resort is now as serious as counterfeiting or altering theme park tickets, unauthorized use of credit cards, nuisance or violence towards a cast member, and more. And when it comes to popular and limited merchandise, as many Disney fans know, resellers have become a big problem. Of course, in 2020, when Splash Mountain was announced to be closing, funny enough, we mentioned this today, when the parks did reopen, there was, you guys you can go watch the live stream I did from reopening day of Magic Kingdom. People were just attacking the shelves at Splashdown Photos, just ripping things off the shelves. We have those pictures, those famous photos of people with like 20 Brer Foxes and Brer Bears in like garbage bags over their shoulders and stuff like that. Of course, Disneyland Paris, it's been wild. They've released some of those big statues, and you'll see people with like big wagons full of these things. And there, it's very hard to enforce it for legal reasons we won't get into now because we want to keep the news somewhat short. But nonetheless, it is interesting that Tokyo has listed it. We will see if they enforce it, and we will see what this means for the rest of the Disney parks around the world. Of course, as you well know, if you watch this show, Tokyo Disney Resort is not operated by the Walt Disney Company. It's franchised. It is operated by the Oriental Land Company. The 999 happy haunts of the Haunted Mansion are making their way out for the winter at Tokyo Disneyland with a new Disney Story Beyond upcharge game, as well as some new merchandise commemorating the iconic attraction this January. While it doesn't seem like the actual attraction will see any changes for the event, the stories of the mansion are being expanded upon outside of the ride for the first time at the park. For a small fee, guests can purchase a mystery-solving guide at select shops across Tokyo Disneyland. And once they scan the QR code, Guests Line app will open. It's an app we don't really use so much here in the U.S., but it's very popular there. And it'll take them across the parks in search of the 13 mysteries of the Ghost Registry. There's riddles to solve, along with exclusive details about some of the mansion's most famous and prominent residents. And when opening their camera near the Haunted Mansion, through a special page of the Tokyo Disney Resort website, guests can pose in a special photo op with specially created art renditions of the Haunted Mansion's many iconic ghosts. Merchandise will include a cast member costume-inspired headband, a mystery pin box, mystery charms, a cup and saucer, a plate, a cutlery set, actual wallpaper. That's right, they are making the actual wallpaper. There's also a figure set, which, mind you, I think is amazing. It has the pop-up ghost and the Pet Cemetery ghost and the little bat stanchions. There's also this amazing Haunted Mansion nano block set and so much more. You really got to go to WDWNT.com to check it all out. There are dozens more items that we don't have time to talk about here on the show. Continuing on with the event, though, 4 local notable artists collaborated with the Oriental Land Company to create special fan art of the mansion and its characters, and they're recruiting guests to do the same, with the best to be posted through the end of February on the official Tokyo Disney Resort Instagram account. The Disney Story Beyond game and merchandise become available January 26th at the park. It'll be available through March 31st or while supplies last. The King Ludwig's Castle restaurant at the Disney Village in Disneyland, Paris will permanently close on January 8th, 2023 to be completely rethemed. The new restaurant will be the Royal Pub. The retheme will happen quickly with the English-themed pub opening February 2023. The building's facade will be updated with a red and gold color scheme. Its current tent and castle tower-like elements will be removed. The terrace, bar area, and dining room will also be updated. King Ludwig's castle was inspired by the real King Ludwig II of Bavaria, Germany, and the real buildings he commissioned, including Neuschwanstein Castle, which of course was the inspiration for Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland. I've said this before, I am not the biggest fan of the remodeled Disney Village. Something has to happen, but this clean, modern architecture thing is not my thing with Disney. It doesn't scream Disney. I know the fans out there in Europe are very excited about it. In fairness, I think King Ludwig's is already a good-looking establishment. I think as far as food quality is concerned, it's one of the better places we always eat there. I think it's one of the best restaurants in the village. So I'm kind of sad. I hope it's going to be as good. I hope it's not just kind of a plain old pub because I like that place. Cinderella Carousel at Hong Kong Disneyland has reopened with refreshed colors and 2 new lead horses inspired by Disney royalty. Disney Park shared photos of the carousel, including one with the cast members on Twitter. The horses inspired by Disney princes, princesses, and queens match the Castle of Magical Dreams, the updated version of the castle at Hong Kong Disneyland featuring references to all the existing Disney princesses. The horse pictured has a bird with a ribbon from Cinderella and a section of the saddle resembling the magic carpet from Aladdin. Its hair and hooves are golden while the saddle straps are encrusted with gems. Very cool. For the absolute latest on these stories and all those that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Inner Globe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. You actually get a special discount on anything you buy from Carousel products when you join. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today. Have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside as he and a panel of Disney superfans take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog. They'll tell you its history, details, and give their review, so you'll know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes, or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube on WDWNT TV.